I am your host, Carrie Scollon, giving us different perspectives on where we are and where we want to go on our journey. Thanks for being here, and I look forward to spending some time with you. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Founders Series. I'm your host, Carrie Scollon, and I have a super interesting guest today that I think we are all going to definitely learn something and explore something that we've all heard about. Everyone's talking about it, but there's a little bit of I don't know what, I'm a little bit scared about this. So I'd like to introduce Jennifer Hufnagel of Hufnagel Consulting. You are an AI educator and an AI readiness specialist, which I love those terms. I've done a little bit of research. I know you because you were raised in Sointula on Vancouver Island, so that was a nice connection that we had there when I first saw you come up on I think it was in a group actually. So Jennifer, welcome, and we're going to dive right in.
Sounds great. Thanks, Carrie, for having me.
You are so welcome. So I went through a little bit of the website just to get an idea of, okay, how am I going to describe this amazing human who is helping us through? I mean, this is the next stage. This is we either adapt to this AI or we are left behind. Some people, that's fine. But when I went to your website and I saw I read through your about page, which I always love to do, because when I see on somebody's website that they put down what their values are in their business and themselves, it just strikes a chord with me. And I'm so grateful when people do that, because it gives us a glimpse right away into what they stand for, if I'm going to be aligned with, their vision.
Right.
And yours were authenticity, integrity, service, impact, community, and creation.
Absolutely.
And great choice of words. And
Thank
I'm
you.
sure that you live them.
I really try. I once heard Simon Sinek speak. He's great, by the way.
Yes.
You don't know who Simon Sinek is. And he said that your core values in business and personal overlap. And so I really took that to heart. So I did take some time to put those words to paper and really describe. I think the three that I focus on it's the authenticity, because I'm over 40. So there's something that changes with women over 40. Yes, there's perimenopause and menopause, but there's this sense of I'm just going to do what I'm going to do and live my authentic life, which is so freeing and empowering.
Yeah.
And from a business perspective, the impact, service, and community. I am on this mission to upskill as many humans as I can with AI, because frankly, there's an AI freight train coming, and most of us don't know that it's actually coming. And it's a little bit scary as well. You talk to people are scared. That's the elephant in the room, Carrie.
Yeah.
That we don't know what we don't know, especially in business. We might not have had our AI aha moment yet. And it's scary. And the only way through this being scared about technology is education and upskilling and getting comfortable with the technology.
I totally agree. And I think we would be naive to think that this isn't going to affect us.
Oh,
Whether you use it or don't use it, but there's something that I just feel the more we learn, the more we understand it, the less scary it is. And it takes that big, moment, that fear. I know I've heard a lot of that talk, and I want to start with this one, because when you talk about authenticity, and when you talk about authenticity and AI, where's the common ground, I would say, because people think we are losing authenticity because we are letting AI do a lot of the work. Can you help me with that piece a little bit?
I would say a couple of things. You always have to have a human in the loop. So there's always, you don't just take verbatim about what's, let's say, a large language model. AI is an overarching umbrella that really just helps machines think and act like humans. But most people think of artificial intelligence as this generative AI, large language models, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Copilot, Gemini. There are quite a few.
Yeah.
And so you have to have a in the loop. You have to have that discernment and that critical thinking, not only to ask it great questions. Carrie, we're learning a new language. We're learning how to talk to robots, and that's weird.
Yes.
Weird. But especially as women, we are great communicators typically. So AI lends itself to us better. So I think making sure that you have the human in the loop perspective and know that it's just a tool.
Right.
By just a tool. It's not going to replace your internal knowledge. Yes, it's PhD level, and yes, it's like your smartest bestie, but you still have internal knowledge, subject matter expertise. So using that paired with this tool, you're almost like a superstar.
Oh, I love that you said that you as a tool, like just like the weights are a tool to your workout, right? You've got to use you're something that's going to enhance it, right? It's going to make us stronger in some ways. So for somebody like myself who I use it a lot for ideas, just ideas to get my creative brain flowing if I'm feeling stuck or whatever that is. But I like how you said that women with the communication style that we have, which is, you know, different from men. I mean, that's just a way of putting it. I it makes sense to me that we are going to, because we have to kind of program our own, right? Like, is that kind of like answer or asking the right questions and using our tone to make sure it's, I don't know. I should not be explaining this, so I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, certainly. So there are definitely a few things that you can do depending on the different type. If we're talking about, again, generative AI, you can go in and you can do customizations. You can review memories. You can also do some more advanced features, such as, let's say, if we're talking about custom GPTs, it's a custom GPT or a project that you can gather your context. Context is so important. And the basic way to ask questions, I like to think about it as these 3 building blocks. Yes, you can ask the model to create the question or help you come up with the prompt, but in my workshops, I go back to the basics so that you know how, if it fails or if it doesn't, you know how to troubleshoot. And that's instructions, context, style, and tone. So when you're crafting your questions, it's instructions, tell it what you want it to do, give it a goal, create me that context, all of the information about you. You know, recipe for a cake, but I live in Cusco, Peru. The context is important,
Right?
Because if you're baking at 12,000-ish feet, it's very different than baking at sea level. And then you can use the tone as well as that 3rd building block, formal, informal. But as you start to use the model, it will also start to learn you as well. But there are definitely some things that you can bring in to set the context. If you just ask, bake me a chocolate cake, or give me a recipe for a chocolate cake, it'll be very generic.
Right.
You might want a cake such as act as Jamie Oliver or one of the best baking show co-hosts, those sorts of things. Okay. So the context is really important to build it about you. So yes, you're training it.
Yeah. I actually have never used it for the recipes, but I think my girls have.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just that next generation down. Like, I think they use it quite a bit. They just pop everything in there or anything. When they're thinking about something, they'll pop it in there just to see what comes out. And they're having fun with it. I think that's the other thing that we need to really focus on is anything that's new can be intimidating. Somebody like me in the whole tech issue department, I'm just like a hands-off person. And I am nervous when I try to play with things. Even Canva, I still have not figured that out, but that's me. But
you
I
can
think
ask ChatGPT to help you with your Canva.
which I'm gonna do. I'm gonna
Right?
do
It's
that.
great for troubleshooting. Walk me through
Yes.
step by step. Create me a lesson plan so that every day I spend 15 minutes learning Canva. Tell me what I need to do, and it will create you a lesson plan. This is the most, sorry, and I didn't mean to interrupt you,
No,
Carrie,
I
but
love it.
the democratized tool. It helps you learn how you learn. It's in the palm of your hand. And now I recognize not everybody in the world has a smart device and has
Right.
internet, and there are other major challenges as well. But if you have those 2 things, you can learn anything.
Anything.
That's empowering, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yes, absolutely. But we've got to put the fun part back in it because I get intimidated very easily when it comes to this kind of stuff. But I have to remember that I need to have some fun with it and play around with it.
When they're laughing, they're learning. That's what we used to
Mm,
have in our classroom on the
yeah.
wall. When they're laughing, they're learning. And you have to find your aha moment. Carrie, your aha moment might be, you know, holding up a watermelon and using Gemini or ChatGPT to say, is this watermelon ripe or not?
What?
Yeah.
You can
Yes.
do that?
You can do that. You can do that.
Oh my God.
Or you and I could be having a conversation and I turn on advanced voice. Although the new update for advanced voice sounds like a 20-year-old tech bro who's maybe had too many drinks, and I don't love the new advanced voice. But you can turn on voice and have a conversation. Hi, ChatGPT, how's it going? Carrie and I just spoke about these 5 things. Please go and create me an email. Or I'm not quite sure about this program. She and I are, going through some of the ideas for the program. Can we just talk it out? The
Wow.
advanced voice and the advanced video, that's where we're going. We're going to be talking into things, whether it be glasses, whether it be wearables. We're going to be talking to robots. So getting used to it. And it is, like I said, weird and creepy. But those are some of the fun uses. I was
Right.
in a fashion show for a local charity here in Nanaimo, and I had never walked the runway before. And so I put ChatGPT up. I said, can you watch me walk and give me tips on my runway walk?
No way. I,
Those
yeah,
are
I
the fun
think
things, Carrie. Those are, yes, I
I
talk
love
all
that.
about business uses, but though you have to find your own aha moment, which is different for everyone.
Yes. Oh my God. Well, I mean, I didn't even know that half of those things were. Well, I think I've just like dipped my tiny
Most
baby
people
toe
have
in
to.
it. Like,
Yeah, most
I've
people
really
have.
no idea what it's
Yeah.
capable of. I think I really wanted to have you on to put us a little bit at ease
Yeah.
and to encourage us to have some fun with it, play around with it. And yeah, like can you give us, even like you just did, a couple of the examples of what it can actually do at the very basic level? If somebody is just coming in and going, okay, I don't even want to try this, but I don't really want to be totally left behind.
Right.
I just, can you give the recipe is probably a great place to start for some
So,
people.
Carrie,
Just
I'm
have
going to
fun, right?
of course, I'm going to ask you, what was one of the last things you Googled over the last couple of days? Do you
Uh,
remember?
um, I can look it up.
Sure. What I recommend is that download a large language model. You still want to be safe, so please don't put in, your personal data, your, visa, passwords, etc.
Yep.
And Carrie, it doesn't really matter what you did Google. What my suggestion is use a large language model. Instead of using Google for 2 weeks, use ChatGPT.
Okay.
I like ChatGPT because you can turn off the ability to share your information with the training model.
Okay, that's a big one.
Turn that
That's a
off,
big
even
one.
in the free model. Some
Yes.
models you don't. And they have quite a lot of features for the free model that you don't have to pay for. And
Okay.
even if you do pay for it, you get quite a lot of features for a very low price point. I'm telling all of my clients in 2026, you absolutely have to put in a line item in your budget for subscription software. And it's not
Uh,
just one, it's going to be more and more. So that has to be a line item. So whatever you did
yes.
in Google, just start asking ChatGPT. You can't really go wrong. Again, start with instructions, context, style, and tone, and tell it a little bit more
Yeah.
information. Because if you put garbage in, you put garbage out.
Yeah, that's huge. That's
Yeah,
huge.
garbage out.
I did find what I last
Oh
Googled,
yeah,
and it
what was
was
it?
well, I'm doing this pub crawl
Oh yeah.
on the bikes, like the pedal pub
Oh
crawl
yeah.
in Calgary, and we're all dressing up as Mrs. Roper.
Oh my gosh, I love this.
Yeah, so I Googled the Threes Company because my girls were like, "Who's Mrs. Roper?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, you've got to find." So, anyways, that was the last thing I Googled. So
Yeah,
even that, I could have some fun in Chat GPT. Even if I did a little I'm just thinking now that it would be fun to do like a little game show or something while we're on it.
yes.
Questions about Threes Company, or so that's just something I'm gonna pop in there and see what it says.
Absolutely. So a couple of things. So one, you can plan out your entire event planning of the pub crawl bike.
Yeah.
It can do all of the run sheets for you. Let's say it was a larger event. You can say, I want to pedal for 10 kilometers and here's my route. Please map out the route in Calgary and which pubs I should go to.
Yeah.
You can even say, here are my 10 pubs, giving me the latitude and longitude. And then you can download that into a CSV and then upload that to Google Maps to get it to be mapped out.
Incredible.
You can then say, Mrs. Roper, it knows who Mrs. Roper is, but I would say Three's Company, Mrs. Roper.
Yeah.
Create me 15 questions for this game show style, run it like not Plinko, but you know what I mean? Run it like this type of a game show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And create me that.
Amazing.
Those are some of the fun things that you can do.
Yes.
You can snap a photo of what's in your fridge and ask it to make you, figure out what to make for dinner.
That's unreal. I was just thinking also from another perspective of even if people are going to an event, I know for somebody like me that I always wanted to be kind of armed with some questions.
Yeah.
To make me feel more comfortable when I was going into those settings. And even something like that, like create some, I know it's small talk and it's whatever, but just to gain some confidence that you've got a tool, that you've kind of looked at some things. So the ideas are endless of what you can create.
Absolutely.
It's just a matter of, I know for me that when I started to kind of dive into a little bit, I was worried about the authenticity part of it. And I think there's a fine line there, especially if you're writing. I don't know if we're ever going to be able to tell. And do we want to be able to tell? I don't know. What do you think about that?
Do you mean if it's AI generated or not?
Right. Like for an email, if I'm sending an email out, I still want it to be my words.
Right.
But I also love the way that I've put some things in there and it sounds so much clearer and more impactful.
Yeah.
So it's like I want to blend the two for it to still be authentic.
Absolutely. I just wanted to make a comment for those people who might be scared of going to an event. You can use a ChatGPT voice to role play those questions.
Wow.
Act like I'm meeting somebody that works at, financial services. These are the types of questions I want to ask. Please ask me questions back.
Oh, wow.
Great for sales role playing. I've had to create so much sales training over the years and role plays, and nobody loves role plays. And then you're practicing in the class, but you're not really. Then you're practicing live on your clients.
Yeah.
Practice with your large language model.
That's incredible.
So a couple of things, it's interesting. I think we have to assume everything is AI generated. If you've used a large language model and you've written with it and seen, you can tell what it is or not. Even if people remove the emojis, because we know emojis are a telltale sign.
Yeah.
Long M dash.
Yes, I've seen
I
those.
love the M dash and I used it. I'm a terrible writer, and that's why I kind of gravitate to something like a ChatGPT or a Claude.
Yes, yeah.
But even if you remove them, the way that the cadence is, you can tell when things are written. And so I think we're going to start. So first of all, I think you have to assume everything is AI generated, even if it's your words.
Yeah.
Some of the AI, there are very few AI experts out there, but those ones that are more of the AI influencers will say things like, I'm wearing a toque and this is my AI avatar. And when I don't have the toque, this is the real me.
Oh, okay.
Many people are being transparent to say this was co-generated with AI.
Okay.
There are no guardrails or guidelines right now. It took about 6 years for the internet to get these. So I always disclose with my clients, I am using a large language model.
Yeah.
And I always make sure that I put as much of my authenticity in my voice, but I absolutely use ChatGPT to make it just sound that little bit better because my skill set is not a strong writer.
Oh, I'm same. I'm absolutely the same. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's if we need to see this as a tool for empowerment, really.
Mm-hmm.
And as women, I think we are very well suited. We talked about communication, but we're also great at problem solving and critical thinking. And AI is now leveling the playing field, which is brilliant. I'm part of two groups. One is She Leads AI, and there are women that are mostly over 50, redefining their careers, doing some incredible things with AI. so empowering. I'm also an ambassador for She Is AI. Again, another group of women doing some incredible things. This is really leveling the playing field for us.
Yeah.
And if you have, some of your audience might be maybe a little bit younger and you still have children at home, think about this. If you celebrate the holidays and Christmas, hi, ChatGPT, I'm having 10 people over for Christmas. I have 2 people who are vegetarian, 1 person who has a dairy allergy, 1 person is gluten-free. I am doing a turkey, but I need at least 5 side dishes. Can you please create me a menu and then create me the grocery list? And then very soon you will be like, now AI agent, go and order that list and it will appear at your door.
It's incredible.
Sam Altman just said that he believes robots will be here. He said this a few days ago. Sam Altman is the OpenAI CEO of ChatGPT, the inventor of ChatGPT. Robots will be here in 2027.
I think they're going to be in our homes in 2027.
I wouldn't say necessarily in my home because I probably couldn't afford it, but they are going to be, this is what
available,
moving faster than we have ever seen. There is this AI freight train coming. And so just downloading ChatGPT, turning off the settings under data control to make sure that your information doesn't go in, and just start typing. You can do a dictation or you can talk into it.
Yeah.
And just use it for the next 2 weeks instead of Google. And then you will start to see the power and do funny things. My friend writes jingles for her friends' businesses in the form of rap songs.
Oh, that's incredible. Fun. So fun though.
To write, I had an RFP. You could have said, hi, ChatGPT, here are the requirements, upload the requirements. Please go and create me an RFP using my website. That would have been okay. And that probably would have taken me an hour or 2. It still took me probably a good 15 hours to develop this 37-page RFP because I wanted it to sound like me and come from my voice. But then I would use AI to say, here's my budget, please go and make it pretty. So instead of me faffing around in Excel to make it pretty with the borders, I just put it into a table and it looked great, copy and pasted it in.
Ugh.
And instead of saying, hi, Carrie, can you review my 37-page for grammar and make sure it's in alignment? I went section by section and said, can you please to make sure, it's using appropriate language, it's in this voice and it's in this tense. It saved me probably at least 10 hours.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So that's the authenticity piece. It's not like I could have done it faster and it would have been okay. And I could have submitted it, but I knew I needed to still bring me to it.
Yes. Yeah. And I think, well, that just goes right back to your point that we're using it as a tool.
It's a tool.
It's not the be all end all. It's still, you can still use it as an outline and put your own pieces into it. You can change it. Like, I know that's what I've done. I've gotten an example.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, now I want that out. I'm going to change those words. I don't like that word. It doesn't fit right with me. So, I mean, you are putting your own spin on it, but so much of what I've loved about it is it just seems so much clearer. And that's what I want. If somebody's reading something from me, I want my words, but I want it put in a way that just makes more impact.
Absolutely. So. And a couple of other tips for you as well, or just for your audiences. Create a new topic, a new chat. So every time you want to search for sorry, I shouldn't use the word search. Ask a question.
Yeah.
It's a new chat, new topic. So many times I see people in class using the exact same. It will start to hallucinate. So don't do that. Start a new topic, new chat.
I do that because I thought that then they've got all the information from what, oh my goodness. Okay. Okay.
Different topic, different chat. If you get down and you start refining, and let's say it's a description for a workshop, then take that and it gets pretty close. Take copy and paste that, go into a new chat, start again. So then you can do some more refinement.
Okay. That's a great tip. I did not know that.
Yes. Okay. And then editing, there's a little edit pencil button. Editing is better than copying and pasting new content.
Okay.
So there's a little edit button. So if you want to change something, go back and edit versus copying and retyping it.
Oh, okay.
A couple of other little tips.
Okay.
It is really important to think of it in terms of instructions, context, style, and tone.
Yeah, I like that.
Build that out for yourself.
Right. Can you say that again? It's the
instructions.
Yeah.
context,
Yeah.
style, and tone.
Style and tone,
There
right?
are other building blocks. So do
Yeah.
you want to know my first chat ever back in
Yeah.
December 2022?
Yes.
So my AI aha story started in 2022 around December. I was creating an HR workshop, which is, maybe not as exciting as, gosh, safety and HR, two of them least exciting maybe workshops out there. Anyway, and so I was creatively tapped out, and I follow adult learning best practices because I've been in learning and development for so many years. And so I was like, I got into ChatGPT and thought, because you had to sign up waitlist. Anyway,
Yeah.
so my first prompt was something like, I am an expert instructional designer. I am creating an HR workshop. Here are my 3 learning outcomes. Please create me 3 learning activities and please follow Bloom's taxonomy and adult learning based best practices. I just typed this very long. I had no idea what I was doing,
Yeah.
but I knew I needed to give it a bit of context about what I was doing. I just inherently knew that.
Right.
And it came out with 3 high quality learning activities per learning outcome. And I thought, oh my gosh, this was amazing. And then I immediately thought, holy bleep and bleep, this is coming from my job. Why would people pay to do when you can just build? And I was like, create me an HR work. I was like,
yes.
So, then like the universe opened up. I was invited to an AI mastermind in January of 2023, and then became certified as an AI Future Lab mastermind trainer. And so that's how, and then I kept being asked, can you create an AI workshop? Can you create an AI workshop? And that is how I really started. So I've completely pivoted my business from operations consulting, digital adoption and learning and development to full-on AI education, AI awareness, and AI readiness. And then we do talk a little bit about AI adoption as well. So
I mean, I love that you're doing this, because I think from what I've gathered with you, though, you bring it into a language that we can understand, right? And and I'm talking about me, as a person that is a little nervous about going in, I feel like you just bring it into a space where it opens it up and it allows me just to try. As far as you going into businesses, I don't even know how a business is going to keep going if they do not embrace isn't the right word, but I mean adapt or adopt this practice. I mean, I just don't see it, and I'm not a techie by any means and knowing what's going on, but there's no way that this is not going to be in every single business that is out there.
And it already is. If you you're using Microsoft or Google Workspace as, one of your email platforms, you're already starting to see it.
Yeah.
We're, even in Google Sheets, and I don't know if it's rolled out to everybody yet, but you don't have to do formulas anymore. You can go equal, write your prompt, and then give the range. So no crazy VLOOKUPs, pivot tables, all of these things. It's just going to be easier and easier.
Yeah. So it is making our life easier.
It is. And
it's saving time. Like, what are the other benefits of it? Could you just what would some of those benefits be?
Yes. So I just wanted to address one thing. You did say that businesses, this is coming. There is an AI freight train coming, and you absolutely need to pay attention.
Yeah.
This cannot be a tech-led. Do not let your IT teams lead this. This has to be a human-led, because we can't just force technology onto business or onto your users. We've all seen what happens if you force technology. Adoption is really, really low.
Yeah.
And so this is even more scary. So that's why it has to be human-led. And then I forgot your question. I just wanted to point that out.
I was just thinking of just coming back down to the actual benefits.
Oh, yes, the benefits. So so let's talk about a business. Your employees, I think, are going to be happier because they are going to spend less time stressing out about all of the things that they have to do. Yeah. They're going to feel a bit more empowered because they can do the things that are on their list.
Yes.
Even if it's maybe leaving half an hour early so that they can spend time with their friends, family, or maybe be out on the land as well. Or even just the time to have that creative brain space to think about the things that you want to do, instead of just this. We have this culture of like, go, 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 busy, busy, busy. It's not a badge of honor. Mm-hmm. So AI allows you to then do some of the things, help clean up some of your data, create some of your policy and processes. Get ready for the AI freight train that's coming. We have to pay attention. And I am on this mission. And I don't know if I said this at the beginning, but I feel like I'm an AI pusher these days. It's on this mission to upskill as many people as possible. And I just feel so grateful that AI has come around because I started in software training. I'm relatable. I'm not a tech bro. I don't explain things so that it's so technical that you don't understand. We bring in, as a learning and development specialist, I bring in the learning activities and the adult learning. We practice, we play, we get curious. Carrie, we're all on this learning journey together. We can't do this alone. Helen Keller says, together we can do so little, and alone we can do so little, and together we can do so much.
Yes.
So those are some of the benefits. And if you can bring your stress down just a little bit, because now you can plan out, your pub crawl bike trip and then spend some time doing something else. Like it's so empowering.
Well, and I mean, I can feel your mission, because it's like when you get something that is going to be, I mean, it is life-changing. I don't care. I don't throw that phrase out very often.
No.
But this is something that can do that.
Yeah.
And when you have that information at your fingertips and you understand it, it is like a disservice to not be sharing it and helping people, because you don't want people to be left behind.
No, I don't want people to be left
behind. And you're seeing the way that it can benefit us in our everyday lives, not just on this huge scale, but the simplicity to bring things down to, like you said, with some of the parents at home, and they've got all these schedules and they're running here, running there, and you can just bring it all together and, what's the best option for this, or lunches and dinners. And I'm not trying to simplify that, but I think it can simplify a lot of, like you said, the stress that comes along with that. I mean, I can tell you one thing that stressed me out the most about being a stay-at-home mom was what to cook for dinner, which was so ridiculous, but it made me crazy. And to think that you can just go in and just have that laid out for you, the stress that takes off, it sounds very minimal, but it's not, because that stress itself, that's a ripple effect on every single person around you. Even, getting in the car and you're stressed. I mean, that affects people that you don't even know.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and when, we're all of women of a certain age, when it comes to perimenopause and menopause, one of the biggest impacts for me has been on my mental health, that I haven't been able to, it's almost like I have this imposter syndrome, or I can't do it, or why should I be doing this? That was the biggest impact. So being able to have a tool that I can also talk through these things. The Harvard Business Review came out to say the number one reason people are using generative AI tools is for therapy. Wow. So when I can put in to say, here are my symptoms and here's where I'm at with my HRT and what do you think's happening? Can you help? I can talk through things. I can be more efficient because of AI.
Right.
Then it's literally saved. I don't want to say saved me, but it's kind of saved me.
Yeah.
Especially as a solopreneur, woman entrepreneur in her 40s.
Yes.
This is the tool. And
but
there's some caution though, Carrie.
I was going to say, I want to highlight that, because I think there are a lot of people that are using it for therapy. Yeah. So there's that fine line of the human part and for us to now to become our doctors and our assessing what we need. I think what it is, like you mentioned, was it's a tool so that we're more informed to ask the professionals.
Yes.
Right.
And you can say, please, I'm worried about this. Please help me come up with questions so that I can ask the doctor to have a more informed.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
We have to be careful because AI does hallucinate. Hallucinate means make up information. So we have to have the discernment. And so another tip is, when you're creating your prompts, always say, cite the sources. Did you lie or make up any information? Give me the exact information I was looking up protein to ideal weight ratio, because as you know, we need to have a lot of protein
Right.
in this phase of life. I knew that Dr. Mary Claire Haver and Dr. Stacy Sims both had calculators. So I asked ChatGPT, I'm in perimenopause, I'm 47. I do know I need to up my protein, but I don't quite remember what the ratio is so I can track my protein. Can you please go out and find this information? I usually follow what I said, Dr. Mary Claire and Dr. Stacy Sims.
Yeah.
It came back and it gave me some information, and I was like, that's not quite right. I knew it was a little bit off. Intuitively, I knew because I've done a lot of reading. And I said, did you lie or make up information? And it said, actually, yes, I gave you some general information. I said, can you go back out and give me the exact calculations for Dr. Mary Claire Haver and Dr. Stacy Sims?
Yeah. Wow.
So it gives you that generic information back. So you need to ask it, and you need to go and check the sources. Carrie, we're old enough that we had to go to the library.
Yeah.
We had to go and check the
It's
sources.
true.
So we still need to take that into consideration too. So don't take it verbatim. Don't rely on it when it goes down, but as a tool to help you just work through some of the things.
Yeah, I think that's so important, because we still need to, I mean, I believe we're in a world right now where we don't know what is real and what's not real. We don't know who to believe, who not to believe. We don't know what's true, what's not true. Now, so much is being created with the AI, and it looks like the person that's speaking, I mean, that part is terrifying to me.
It is terrifying.
So I think it's really important, and maybe this is where we can wrap it up with, is try it, have fun with it. It's an incredible tool.
Yes.
Use it as a tool.
Use it as a tool.
But always make sure you're coming back and you're checking your sources, or you're asking them, like you said, fact check this for me. Like, where did you actually get this information from, so that now we can go back, because it's all about educating ourselves, but we can't take everything at face value.
No.
And that's where I think people may get into some fuzziness of, now they're putting stuff out there that they believe to be true that might not be true. Absolutely. So you still have to really be authentic with yourself, integrity. I mean, you've got to bring your own values into what you're creating and what you're putting out there.
And your own discernment and your own critical thinking. And we know that because we grew up with learning those skills. So our younger people, those critical thinking skills as well. There was a really great podcast, if you haven't listened to it, Diary of a CEO, that had the father of AI on yesterday, and I haven't listened to the whole thing. And he said, basically, go and be a plumber. Like, I wouldn't tell my child to go and spend $80,000 on a business degree. I would say, go all in with AI and go and learn electrical, plumbing, because those are the jobs that are not going to be as impacted as quickly.
So true.
So true. So true. Wow. Anyway, I know we're almost out of time.
No,
we could probably talk forever, Carrie.
I know. That was awesome. I just really wanted to give our audience a little snippet, because we know that there's way more to this, but it was that if you're thinking about dipping your toe, have some fun with it, use it however you choose to use it. Make sure you use your discernment and the critical thinking that goes along with that. But it can open a whole new world. Like, I really truly believe it can. And like you said, it's bringing us all onto a level playing field, right? And just dive in. Like, even if you were just thinking about doing something, but you don't know where to start there.
Absolutely.
Start gathering some information, having some fun with it, and just see where it leads you. Like you did. You took the training, look where it led you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I completely pivoted my business. Yes, somebody said, oh, can you do training on customer service? I said, absolutely.
Yeah.
But my focus is on AI, because that's what people need and that's what people want.
Yes. So. And I mean, I think of somebody sitting in there that wants just to earn some extra income and they don't really know what to do, but they're an amazing knitter. Yeah. You can go into Chat GPT and go, I want to set up a little, workshop on learning how to knit 101, and tell me how to do that. Do I do video? Where do I put it? Like, it's giving us a avenue for our creativity, where I think there's a misconception that sometimes it's taking our creativity away from us, but I think it's just opening up. I think it's just allowing us to think bigger, to imagine more, to dream more. And that's what a lot of my mission is dreaming again. getting curious. Like
Getting curious.
yes,
Yes.
that's,
Having that AI mindset.
yep.
Can an AI do that? I don't know. Let me go and try
Yeah, let's see. Let's see what happens.
what it can do.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for what you're doing because we need people like you who are sharing this information. And I want to learn it from an expert or a specialist,
I call myself an AI enthusiast because
enthusiast.
there are very few experts out there,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
we're all on this learning journey together.
Yes.
I'm an
And
AI enthusiast.
I love that because I'm not sure we're ever an expert in anything because everything's always changing so quickly.
Oh,
So I love the enthusiast word. That's
yeah.
perfect way to sum it up. So thank you so much, Jennifer, for being here. I hope everybody got something out of that. I know that they will. And I'm sure I'm going to have you back when I start to play around a little bit more and get some more tips from you, and we'll see where it goes.
Wonderful. And you can always come. I do workshops monthly, although I'm taking a break for the summer. I have an advanced workshop coming up, customized workshops. Come to hufnagelconsulting.ca. I've
Perfect.
worked with different nations and businesses and individuals. I've trained over 2,000 people, one of the leading trainers in Canada with a learning and development background. So
Amazing.
it's a lot of fun. So thank you, Carrie, again.
You are so welcome. So sorry, can you say that again? Where people can reach out to
So
find you?
Hufnagel Consulting, HUFNAGEL consulting.ca.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
also on LinkedIn. Those are the two best places. You
Okay.
can give me an email at hello@hufnagelconsulting.ca. Happy to
Perfect.
talk through your needs.
I love it. And if anybody has a business, you'll come in, you'll do Zoom or you do in person. I'm sure
Both,
there's lots of different.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm doing customized private sessions for the summer because I've taken a little bit of a break from been doing it for a year and a half. And
Yeah.
who wants to sit? Well, I don't know. I'd sit on a 3-hour workshop.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
so I do have a limited availability and then
Okay.
a little bit more availability later in the fall, but it's pretty busy. So.
Yeah, I love it. I love it that it's taking off and we've got people like you that are leading us and helping
But
us through it. So
And if you can't get me, don't wait. Go to YouTube University.
yeah.
OpenAI has their own. Claude, I believe they just launched their university. I don't really care where you go. I'd like you to come to me,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
just go and learn and just
Yeah.
try. Just
Love
try.
it. Just
Take
have fun. Have fun. All right. Thank you so much. And we'll see everybody again next time. Bye,
Thanks.
Jennifer.